When was the moment you realized you were being used? I had known Michelle since childhood. She was always a bit snobbish and was desperate to be part of the in crowd in high school, but they wanted little to do with her, put off by her superior attitude. I never realized that she only hung out with me because she didn't have anything else to do until after high school. We would make plans to hang out together, but if something better came along, she would ditch me. It was like everyone could see that she was a bad friend except for me. She changed even further when she met a nice guy and decided to settle down with him. Everything revolved around her fiancé, maybe because she had never had a real boyfriend before. I don't know. All I knew was that she stopped texting me to hang out, and when I texted her, she was always busy. I was invited to the wedding and I went solo as I did not have a date at the time. The bridal side of the wedding party consisted of her sister and her two gay guy friends. One of those friends later told me that they were only in the wedding party because she wanted to make a statement. I had a good time chatting with her family and intended to leave the wedding at about 11 p.m. to go back to my hotel room. Michelle came up to me at 10:30 and asked if I would drive her and her new husband to their lodging for the night. I'm the kind of person who would never leave a friend high and dry, so I agreed to drive her and her husband to wherever they needed to go. I went out to my car and made sure there was room for extra passengers. Then I went back inside to wait for them. 12:30 a.m. passed. Then 1 a.m. The two gay guys drove back to the hotel and texted me to tell me to drive safe as it had gotten foggy. 2 a.m. came and at this time, most of the guests had left. 3 a.m. I'm assisting in the cleanup. Meanwhile, Michelle and her siblings are drunkenly singing along to Michelle's iPod. She had been too cheap to get a DJ. As I helped her dad take out the garbage, he looks at me with pity in his eyes and he tells me, "You're a good friend, Ashley." At 4 a.m., the bride and groom are finally ready to call it a night. I drove them to their lodging, about a half hour out of my way, and then went back to my hotel. Michelle didn't contact me again for months and any texts I sent her were either ignored or rejected. A few months after I started dating my now husband, we went to visit a different friend and she was there too. She was very rude to my boyfriend. We all knew each other in high school and she scorned him because he was a geek back then. He wasn't popular. After that, we had little contact and she never offered a congratulations when I got engaged. I would have thought that she would have liked the way he proposed as he used a Harry Potter wand and both Michelle and I had been huge fans of the series. But she said nothing. I saw her once in the springtime, before I sent out my invitations. She was helping her grandmother clean up her yard as I was driving by with my fiancé. I pulled over. I had a nice chat with her grandmother, but Michelle wouldn't look me in the eye and shut down any conversation I attempted to have with her. Finally, my fiancé urged me to go, so we continued driving to my parents' place. As we are there, my fiancé tells my mom about the exchange. She was trying her heart out to talk to Michelle and that bitch just ignored her. My mom agreed that she had always disliked Michelle for the way she always treated me. I was slowly opening my eyes to who Michelle really was. I debated even inviting her to my wedding. I decided to be the bigger person and put the invite in the mail. The next day, my maid of honor, who also knew Michelle since childhood, asked if I was inviting Michelle. Apparently Michelle told her that even if she wasn't invited, she would crash my wedding. I said that I sent her an invite, so that dashed her plans of making a scene. Michelle texted me and told me she would be coming to the wedding. I also invited Michelle's parents to my wedding and about 2 months before my wedding, her mom said, "Thank you, but we are going to be away that weekend. We have to go clean up Michelle's grandpa's old cabin. It's been 11 years since he passed and my brother and I have finally made plans to do it now. I will send my card with Michelle. Have a great day and congratulations." 5 days before the wedding, we are getting the final numbers for the caterer. I texted Michelle to confirm that she and her husband were still intending on coming as I didn't have an official RSVP. She texted me back, "That was the plan, however last-minute plans were made to go through some of my grandpa's things, which I should really be part of." I meant to text you earlier than today. Reading that text brought back every single excuse she had ever given me when she had something better come along whenever we had made plans to hang out or do something. I knew very well that the plans to go sort through her grandpa's things were not last minute. I knew very well that had I not texted her, she would not have texted me and would have just been a no-show and I would have had to pay for the uneaten food. I finally realized that she was not a friend to me. She would use me unless something better came along. Suddenly her father's pity for me after Michelle's wedding made sense. He knew that she was using me and I was too naive to see it. He knew that she regarded me as a last resort, someone who would always help her out unquestioningly, but was not worthy of her time. I texted back, "Do what you've got to do. I get it." And I finally did. I finally knew what kind of person she was. It was the last thing I ever texted or said to her. That was 3 years ago. In that time, I've gone on to have a sweet baby boy. She got divorced because she was cheating on her husband. I guess something better came along there too.